Okay, so I'm now in full-time athlete mode. Work is finished. We're not going to comment about the hair. Not a mistake. I just got really hot and decided to shave it off and dye it purple. So we're going to go to Immortal MMA, where I'm going to be working with Reese, who's the head coach there. Reese, I trained with at BOM sometimes, and he's a great guy. Reese does constraint-led games as like his main teaching tool. So it'd be really interesting to go and try a different style of teaching. One of the best things about the fact that I am a teacher and that I get the opportunity to have, in essence, 6 weeks when I'm a full-time athlete, is I get to go and visit other gyms. So we're going to go see Reese, we're going to go train at Immortal, and then we'll meet at the end and talk about how things went. See you on the other side. So I made it here, Immortal MMA. Going to go inside, catch Reese, and then go from there. So why the constraints-led approach, and why am I so interested in it? I'm a maths teacher, and I've been teaching maths for almost 10 years. And one of the things that I've been working on is this idea of mastery style teaching. It's the idea that we allow students to come up with their own conjectures and ideas and let them think about multiple methods of solving problems. And I think the constraints-led approach really fits in line with what I've been doing in my career and in my job. And so the idea behind constraints-led, from my understanding, is that we put people into situations through games and allow them to problem solve and for them to come up with their own solutions depending on their body type and depending on their experience and what they know about Jiu Jitsu. And so we can kind of build a game that is more catered to us through constraints-led. That's the thought. Obviously, I've never done constraints-led, which is why I was really excited to come to Immortal. Most of my jiu-jitsus come from direct instruction and then pinning things together. Like, we've all been there when somebody's trying to teach us an armbar or teach us something where our body just can't do that movement. And yes, through repetition, you can learn to do those movements, but we can find success by figuring out something in between. And I think that's the positives of the constraints-led approach. I'm going to stop waffling about constraints and show you what I talked to Reese about. So, cheers for speaking to me, Reese. So what got you into like the constraints-led approach to Jiu Jitsu in the first place?
One of my guys who coaches for me now, he's a brown belt, but he's good friends with somebody called Cal Jones, who's big in the constraints-led ecological dynamic space, and he's been kind of banging on about this for years in terms of like live practice, representative design, and then when Greg Sauder sort of exploded onto the scene, obviously I watched a lot of his content and it just made a lot of sense. And the more I watched, the more sense it made, being like, you can teach as many fancy techniques as you want, but if you can't apply them in a live scenario, what's the point?
Yeah, so like one of the things that kind of interested me in coming down and seeing what it was like, because the way I've been taught Jiu-Jitsu is not the way I would teach maths. Mm-hmm. And so I really liked how interactive your session was. In terms of your session design, what goes into it? How do you decide what you're going to do?
I think for me, coaching is really based on around, like, for example, Jiu-Jitsu, I will split into 3 different parts, which will be like, well, technically four, I'm lying, technically 4. Number 1's like wrestling, like the stand-up side of things. Number 2's like guards, so whether that be passing guard, playing guard, and then finally 3 would be control positions, but I think there is a 4th one as well in there, which is like terminal stuff, which is like submissions, the match ending stuff where you're literally going to start at the end and work your way backwards, that type of stuff. I think today was all about us actually being able to control these sort of terminal points and finishing submissions, which is something that I've been like kind of watching a lot of my guys doing. They get into these positions a lot of the time, but then they're rushing and they're not finishing the positions properly. So like just giving people a little bit more patience and a few more options to create more opportunity to then attack submissions.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed the class. It was very different to what I'm used to in terms of like, I've been like, it's almost been 3 years now I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu, and I don't think I've had many classes where it's been as like free is the word I'm going to use. Like I felt like I could work with it.
Yeah.
And I think it seems like you've got quite a few new guys here.
Yeah.
And they didn't. It kind of made me better what's rolling with you guys, and I think sometimes that gets lost. Where like,
for sure,
especially in beginner classes.
For sure, 100%. I think a lot of people view fundamentals in very different ways, especially when you're coming from a technical instruction point of view. So like back before, I've been playing around with constraints-led for about 3 or 4 years now. So like to start with, it was very new to me and kind of implementing it all. But before then, I used to view fundamentals as, this is an armbar, this is a triangle, this is close guard, this is fundamentals, right? But I don't think that is fundamentals now. I think fundamentals are loads of other things that go into practice depending on where you are. Like, for example, if we're doing submissions or control positions, it's going to be like, how long can I maintain this position for, or how long can I maintain this condition for, to give me more opportunity to attack these submissions in the first place. I think that's a fundamental that applies whether you're a beginner, whether you're elite, like anywhere.
Fantastic. Yeah. Once again, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate you allowing me to come and train with you guys. Where are you based? So if people are watching this, they can come and find you guys.
Our main place is in Tamworth. So we have Immortal MMA in Tamworth, and we've just opened up our new place here in Coleshill as well. So yeah, Tamworth or Coleshill in the Midlands. So yeah.
Hit up Immortal. It'd be a really good shout for you to see. Reece is really knowledgeable. The guys here are great. I've trained with a lot of them at BOM, so it's a really nice room to be in.
Okay.
I'm editing a video and just thinking to myself about what jiu-jitsu is and how we can actually teach it. And so one of the things Reece said to me when we were just like rolling and talking generally was, how do you think Imanari came up with the Imanari roll? And it's this idea of these movements sometimes just come naturally to us and we work out how we're going to do them. And I think that's part of the journey, and that's part of what we want to do. You want to be a lifelong learner. You want to keep learning the whole time. I've heard online lots of people saying once you get your black belt, that's when you start doing jiu-jitsu. And so I'm really excited for what's in store as I get better at jiu-jitsu and as I progress. Yes, winning competitions is great, but actually I'm in it for the long run. I'm in it for being 50 years old and still on the mats. I'm in it for the community I'm going to build alongside the endless amounts of fun I'm having. I'm in it for the friends I'm making along the way and just experiencing the journey to the best of its ability. Being a lifelong learner is something that I've always kind of appreciated about myself. I love learning new things and just having weird hobbies, and this is just one of them. So keep training, keep on the mats. If you get a chance to go to Immortal Coleshill or pop down to Pro Jiu-Jitsu and train with me, please hit us up and I will see you in the next one. Peace.